What is going on, everybody? What is good? What is cracking? It is Thursday, May 5th. It is 8:30. Happy Cinco de Mayo, fellas. Hey, Dev, muted already, Dev. Muted already. Hey, tonight we have a special lineup of guests for our first inaugural show of the Command This podcast. For all you don't know, we used to be the Washington Football Addicts, and we have rebranded ourselves to Command This. Trying to diversify ourselves, diversify our bonds. If you catch what I'm saying. So we want to open this up with a couple good friends of ours, fellow content creators, fellow Washington regulars, well-knowns throughout the community. So let's go ahead and welcome our man, Mr. Rio Robinson. Welcome to the show, Rio. How you doing, brother?
I'm all right. I'm doing great right now, man. How are my fellow comrades, commanders doing right now, man?
We are good, man. It's just another day, and happy to get this new thing off the ground, and happy to do it with you. And let's also bring on our second guest tonight.
Yeah, best for last, Rio. How you like that, baby?
Right.
Last, baby.
Hog Farmer Keith,
fresh off his 60th birthday.
Or as he's known in the streets, Hog Farmer Keith.
What's up, guys?
That's right. Hey, thanks for joining us, Keith. And there's our new banner, Command This. We want to be more than just a sports podcast. If you attended our barbershops before, we try to talk about a little bit of everything and, mix it up. Of course, we'll be centered around Washington Commanders and stuff like that. But, we'll talk about a little bit of everything, a little bit of life, a little bit of what's going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? Got to get out there. Got to branch out.
I love it. There's more in this world to talk about than this fucking team.
That's right. Rio got the Nats hat on. Hey, I'm rocking the red. It's game 2 tonight. Caps put out a good win last couple days ago for game 1 versus Florida. But hey, fellas, as we get started, for us, this is technically our 160th episode, and this is going to be our quick post-draft roundtable. 2022 draft is now over. You could see the different emotions on Twitter, on Facebook. Everybody was happy. Some people were sad. I mean, y'all saw. You guys were all part of it. But before we get started, we always want to know with our guests, how did you become a fan of the Washington Redskins, Washington football team / Washington Commanders? So, Rio, let's start with you and tell us how you became a fan of this team that gives us so much heartache.
I'm a 30-year-old fan. I was born in 91. The team was 14-2 that year. I was in diapers when they won that Super Bowl. I was about 3.5 months old when they won that Super Bowl. And clearly I'm the reason why the team sucks, because they haven't been good ever since, but until I came into this world. But yeah, my parents, my father and my mom, they passed it down to me, especially my father, though. Like, I'm pretty sure he just got her along the ride for it, but she knew her ball when she was here, rest her soul. But my father, obsessed about the team. It never felt forced onto me. It was just kind of what my life was. I just came out the womb in burgundy and gold. And I'm just here for the ride. I want to see this team win 11 games, go to a conference championship, and maybe a Super Bowl one day. And for those in my demographic of age group as a fan, don't ever question our loyalty to this team, because we have no reason to be here, and we still are.
True story.
And loving this team made me start my own podcast, YouTube channel. And I'm able to spread my passion for this team, even my disdain, air out grievances, in a nice, raw, unfiltered forum. And you guys' podcast, amongst many others, was an inspiration for me to get going in this shit. So, yeah, man, I love this team to death. They do a lot wrong. I will never view it all through burgundy-coated lenses. But I will also not bitch and moan about every single little thing the team does. And it's not because I'm a fan ambassador. It's because I'm just me, and I'm always call it I see it. Appreciate y'all for having me on again.
Thank you very much. If you haven't already done so, go follow his YouTube channel, Rambling with Rio. He is killing it out there. You actually inspire us, and I know you came in late to the game, but man, you killing it. Let's keep it up.
Appreciate it, man.
Keith, welcome to the show, brother. Hey, what is your fan story? How did you become part of this?
I was eating some mayonnaise with my dad. All right, first of all, I don't eat mayonnaise. It's Miracle Whip.
Oh, my bad.
Mayo.
That's right. Tell him.
Right. The mayonnaise sandwiches, whatever. But man, I've told the story a million times, so I won't bore you guys. But I grew up, man. My dad was a fan, and he really became a fan because John Riggins was just a dude. And so he just started following the team from there. And became a giant fan, and it kind of made sense to him too, because he was military, he did Army for 20 years. So, with it being in DC, it just was an easy selection for him. And I just grew up with it. And like Rio, man, I wasn't pressured either. My dad didn't care if I became a fan or not. It just was one of those things where, when Pops is in the military and he's gone all the time, you don't really have that father-son bonding.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew that the one thing I could do, and bond with him was watch football, and just became a fan with him.
That's what's
and
up,
here
man. Yeah.
Here we are.
Thank you for your father's service. That's good stuff, man. Well, fellas, we have our guests. We have our introduction. We really appreciate you guys coming back on with us. And let's get right into it. So round 1 of the draft. Keith, you were there. Tell us what the atmosphere was like at FedEx Field.
Yeah, so before the draft, the atmosphere, there was a lot of people there compared to the year before when I was there. Now, to be fair, we had COVID going on, so the restrictions had lightened up this year. I want to say that both, especially this year, it went really well. There was a lot of alumni there, some that I didn't even know was there until I hopped on Twitter and saw pictures. But there was a lot of alumni there. They were on the field signing autographs. They were back in that content room, hanging out with the podcasters, doing interviews. It was just a real laid back atmosphere. You had long lines, but people didn't seem to mind going to check out the new stuff that was done in the locker room with the new branding, that type of stuff. I know it was also mentioned that they're ripping out those carpets. So for anyone that hasn't recently been in there, that locker room looked dingy as hell. Let's just be honest. But it looks like they're doing a lot of stuff in there to update it, which I thought was cool. And then they had this blow up field goal type deal for the kids, to kind of keep the kids a little busy. So, it was quiet, because you didn't have loudmouths like Rio there. It was quiet, but you could tell everyone that was standing on the field, they were kind of just taking it all in, people meeting people, type ordeal. And that's pretty much the reason why I went, because this year I'm heavily focused on fan engagement, man. I get that this team sucks, and this team has sucked for years, and people don't like certain things about the new branding and so on and so on. But man, it's like when you get there and, you start meeting all these dudes and just, understand that we all share the same passion for this team that's been awful. And like Rio said, we still here, So, it was my goal that night. I didn't really want to chum it up with alumni, even though I would have hit up Mark Rippon if I'd have known he's there. But anyways, same with Doug Williams. Those two I just still haven't met in person. But anyways, more importantly to me, my focus there was just to hang out with people, man. And just, we chat every day on Twitter. Why not, meet the people you talk to all the time? And so the atmosphere was just real laid back. It was cool.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. They were serving alcohol, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, I saw they were selling tickets for what?
Was there any Bud Light though?
There was Bud Light there.
Oh, really?
not Heineken.
Yeah, no, they had Bud Light there.
You know what I'm saying? They announced that whole departure, but they still got that thing in the stadium, though, huh?
There's no dummies.
Well, there was still a Bud Light sign up there, too.
Yeah.
The
Bud Light Pavilion still exists.
Yeah, Bud Light Pavilion still exists.
Real Ninjas drink Strohs anyways, man. Real Ninjas drink Strohs. I don't know if y'all remember that one.
No, what is that?
I have no idea what that
Strohs.
I know what he's talking about.
Man.
I know what Strohs is. That's in that PBR category right there.
I think Dev and I are close to the same age.
Right.
I've seen that before.
What about so I'm guessing there was just everything was up on the big screen. How crowded? How many people do you think were there? Like in your opinion?
Oh man, I couldn't even guesstimate.
A couple thousand?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
I want to say it was almost considering to be like the park and party event.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were there, were the alumni just everywhere, or you had to have special passes to get in with the alumni?
Yeah, so good question. So they did have a VIP area, and when I first got there, I hit that area up. I needed to grab a drink. There wasn't any alumni there at the time. Tanya Snyder was there. It looked like the VIP area is what Tanya was really hosting more than anything.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just anxious to get out on the field. And, you know, don't get me wrong, I love some VIP, but as a hog farmer, you don't want to seclude yourself from people. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to, like, we never want to come across like we're better than other people, or we've got certain access over certain people. So we didn't stay for very long. I literally grabbed a drink and you know, we head out to the field. But later on in that evening, I guess as alumni were showing up, that's where a lot of them were. And then I think there was designated times that you had current players and alumni in the content creator room. I poked my head in there. That was crazy. They had tables set up. They had the circle lights. You got that circle light? It looks like you got that circle light, Rio.
Ring light?
Yeah,
Y'all
ring light.
better than me. I would have been like, you ever seen the episode of Dave Chappelle when they gave out reparations? I'd be like, hi, that's poor people. I'd have walked by. You'd eat my cruise on the way past the poor people section. For
the content creators, did you need a invite for the content creators, or how did that work? Was that just if you got a ticket you could go there, or did they reach out to specific content creators and said, hey, we want you to come and broadcast? Rio, you got that invite, Rio, didn't you?
Yeah, it was an invite. Rebecca Katz, the new head of communications and PR for the team, she sent out a bunch of invites to content creators, and it was a nice bill. Like I was gonna go up until like the night before, and I ended up just going to chill with my boys, and we all cooked and just had a good time and live streamed it. But yeah, I'm definitely seeing how it turned out. Like I definitely, you know, I regret a little bit not going, but I had a great time round one. Honestly, I would have been acting the ass around Tanya Snyder in them anyway, because at the time I was getting my feelings out. I would have been out there, fuck this pick, all types of dumb stuff, because, you know, I needed a night to sleep on it. But ultimately, I was glad with how the first round turned.
Here's what I'll tell you: don't regret it, because they're going to be doing that. They're going to be doing more of that. That content creator, I think, was the best part about the entire draft.
Oh, yeah, they told me. She told me they got plans. She told me they got plans for us, so we got to hold it. We got to hold them to it. She said they got plans for us in this season.
And even though I run a podcast, I don't know what the others are going to do. I really have no interest in doing any of that. You know, I know you guys love podcasting. I don't have a love for it. I just do it because you know, I love my boy Jesse, and you know,
shout out to Jesse and the Bleeding Burgundy podcast.
Those guys, you know, they put a lot of, a ton of effort. So I would have liked to have seen them in there, and hopefully they can. But you know, honestly, there's a bigger picture to all of this that I really want people to pay attention to. And the idea of the content creator room, if you look at the big picture of what Jason Wright's doing, you know, we went global with iHeart. So basically we dropped them bum ass FM stations, right? For the most part. And that's a calculated move. Jason Wright's playing chess. They're playing checkers. And
forward thinking.
Forward thinking. He's being innovative. They're done with the negativity, man. They are done with all this negativity. A lot of this stuff that's coming out in the news don't even have anything to do with half these people that are currently in the building. So they're looking at they're looking at ways to be innovative, man. And that content creator room, that was a sure enough saying, we don't need these FM guys. We got plenty of guys like Steve, like Dev, you know, like Phil, like Rio. Just you can name a ton.
There's no one like me, baby. I'm telling you.
Well, we know that, but you got
Tommy, though, I got something for you.
You got guys out here doing things for free, right? Yeah. Talking about the team and the passion they have for this team. Free and they understand that we really don't have to do any of this.
You know what I'm saying? Cut that check at some point.
Well,
right.
If you're good at something, never do it.
Here's the bold move. Here's the bold move in that, because I kind of had a similar thought process. But here's the bold move. They also know that we're more unfiltered, both positive and negative, when it comes to this franchise.
Yep.
And they're betting on that. And I think they see it as our kind of engagement is better overall, because positive or negative, publicity is publicity.
And it's more relatable to a lot of fans.
Exactly,
because we are fans.
Perspective. Yeah.
So we got to target Rebecca. We need to get that invite, man. We're not on that level yet, but we gotta.
I'll shoot you her email as soon as we get off of this.
Yeah,
I think that content creator room is going to change the game, and I think in 2 years we ain't going to be looking towards dudes like JP Finley. That's just me.
Hey, they about. Hey,
I
can't speak on it too much, but they said they got plans for us for camp, whether that be Ashburn or Richmond too. So expect that sort of thing in camp this summer.
God, how many podcasters were at the Fan Appreciation Day last year at camp? Everybody. That's where I got to finally meet Rio and Keith. And
it was a reunion. We were all there. I got all the pictures and the vlogs of it, man.
Yeah, and listen, the feedback we got from the team on that was they loved every single minute of it because they know we were the ones that are putting in our free time to talk about this.
And let's just take a moment to recognize that we have 3 fan ambassadors on this show right now.
Yeah,
Rio and Keith. Look at that. We got 3. I don't know how often that happens, but
look at us.
Look at us, man, taking over the world. But fellas, let's jump right into the draft recap. And like Rio said earlier, there was some emotion going on there, and this is what the team released. So these were our picks. So I want to get through and see what your guys' mental state was at the time this was happening. I think Rio, I was trying to catch a little bit of your live stream. We were live streaming too, but so quick recap of the first round. We were sitting at 11, and we trade back with New Orleans, and we thought at least we thought it's going to be Kyle Hamilton, and then Baltimore 1 pick ahead of us. We dropped back to 16 at 15. Baltimore got him 14. Kyle Hamilton was gone. I know Dev was hurt. We did our predictions on your prediction show. Phil and I both said Drake London, who went way earlier than we got him, and then Dev did say Kyle Hamilton. But so Rio, give me your thoughts on Jahan Dotson. He's not of the big 4 wide receivers any of us were talking about leading up to the draft, especially you and all your pre-draft stuff. So how did you feel about the first pick, man? Don't hold back.
It was funny because I probably had him at like wide receiver 6, wide receiver 7. But at the time I was I thought we were just trading back just to say we traded back at that point. And I was so convinced and fixated that it was going to be Chris Olave or Jameson Williams. I'm a short-sighted, closed-minded fan to the first round this year. I was like, it's wide receiver or bust. I never want to see a wide receiver room where the wide receiver 2 has like 900 yards different than the rest of the room, but it's like bad. Like our second receiver was J.D. McKissick with 380 yards last year. So it was wide receiver or bust for me. So we trade back with Olave, Kyle Hamilton, and Jameson Williams on the board. And immediately the team we trade with takes Chris Olave at 11. Then the next pick, the Lions come flying up from 32 to 12 for Jameson Williams, a guy coming off an ACL test. So that tells you how special that guy is.
Would have been the number 1 had he not gotten injured. He would have been number 1.
100%.
The way Rio broke it down, though, he broke it down. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like I heard the dun, 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 dun. I thought I heard that going on in the background. Like, hey, Rio was breaking it down. But you're right.
It's crazy. Like the value we got for the pick too. Like to go from 11 to 16, you usually expect a 3rd and a 5th. We got a 3rd, which we recouped since the Carson trade, and we got a 4th round pick, and we ended up trading that and flipping that for some more shit. So it could have just been Kyle Hamilton or Chris Olave, and we flipped that into all this shit that you see here on this list. My initial reaction was, John Dotson's going to be a slot receiver. He's even smaller than the Ohio State boy. He's like wide receiver 10. What the fuck are we doing? But I know Dotson clearly, though, because I watched what he did to Maryland last year, and I've seen him play, and he played with a terrible quarterback. So everything he did do was absolutely earned. He wasn't my preference, but I think we may have found something here, and he's for sure starting for us this year, and he should play a big role in the offense. And I'm glad they went offense and didn't take a fucking defensive lineman or like a guard in the first round, because I would have really blown a gasket.
Flipped out. Hey, welcome to the stream, Marcus and Ziga. Marcus, good friend of the show, always sharing content, everyone's content for that matter. His group SportsView too, everywhere. So Marcus's family, what's up? And so Keith, tell us what it was like when they announced that first round pick when they were shown on the big screen. What was your reaction first off personally, and what was everyone else's reaction at FedEx Field?
So I was actually supposed to fake my reaction. If that makes any sense. So
they told you to be happy, get excited, Keith.
Yeah, because there was a gentleman down there that was taking some snappies, right? And so I couldn't, I basically said, man, I can't fake something that, I just can't do that. You're going to get a real reaction if you want it, and then I'll give you my real reaction, and then I'll give you a fake reaction afterwards, and you can use whatever one you want from there. And there's a reason why I'm telling you that, because of course Dotson, gets picked. And my first initial reaction was I put my hands on my head and I said, who's that? Now, I'm not a college guru like, guys like Rio. I don't go that far back, man. I can't. It's hard, man, with 2 kids. It's hard. You can't watch
Rio's like college football Basquiat over here, man.
Yeah.
Basquiat. I don't know about all that, man.
I knew is when this dude got drafted, he broke everybody's mock drafts on Twitter. Yeah. And that's why I make fun of people who do mock drafts. I know that everyone does it for fun, but it's funny because
this year.
Because it never plays out for the most part.
It's fun.
Mock draft started breaking as soon as pick 3, because when Stingley came off at 3, which I knew he was going to go before Sauce Gardner, but drafts just started breaking worldwide at that point.
Yeah. So basically what I did was, my reaction was, all right, well, I'm no football guy, when it comes to picking these guys. I'm like, obviously there was some kind of plan. The thing was, I was with you guys. If we were staying at 11, I was gun-ho for Kyle Hamilton. Yeah. It wasn't 30 minutes before the draft when our girl Tanya Snyder is telling everybody Ron wants Drake London, that was his number. That was his number 1 guy. That's who he wanted. And I know it was reported a little bit later.
I think Rio had Drake too.
I said Drake London.
I think Rio had Drake too. Didn't you have Rio? Didn't you have him, Rio? At
No. I saw that the steam was growing for Drake London, but I thought it was going to be Wilson or Olave.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still think if Wilson doesn't get taken at 10 by the Jets, which absolutely made me fall off the couch, I think we might have put Wilson at 11.
Yeah. You and Jalen were at you showed that little.
Oh my God. Because we were willing it to existence. Like, yes, the Jets don't need him. They have Elijah Moore. They're going to play the same role for them. Like, oh.
Well, Phil is a Penn State fan, so I'm sure he's probably happy to have a guy like Jahan Dotson.
I got to watch Jahan Dotson. That's why when people were like, "Who's this bum? He wouldn't have gone till the 3rd round." I'm like,
"Okay, that's wild."
This guy's got
he's a legit first round pick.
Yeah.
So now when they drafted him, my first thought was, well, if Wentz goes down, at least we know that when Heineke throws the ball over his head, he will catch it because he's got hands.
You mean Sam Howell?
Now, granted, that thought process changed by the 5th round, but we'll get to that. But he only had 2 drops all year.
And he's hands catcher too, not a body catcher.
Yeah.
And how many times have I preached about hand catching versus body catching on this?
Antonio Gibson.
Talking about
Terry too. Terry be body catching his ass off sometimes.
Marcus said Washington could have traded back twice in the first round. They probably could, like Rio said, we thought we might have traded back just to trade back. It probably was possible.
It ended up I wasn't mad at Dotson, the pick. I think he's a terrific player. I think he's worthy of being picked in the first round. My problem with it is that, man, we have the worst linebacking team in the entire NFL, bro.
No,
like if you're gonna trade, there's no other team with worse linebackers than Washington.
We couldn't take off ball backer in the first back-to-back years.
Man, no, I wouldn't have done that. But I was thinking you could at least win and got one of our other weak positions like Kyle Hamilton out of the way. You could have had Kyle Hamilton, and you could have also had Dean. You know what I'm saying?
You had to go offense, bro.
In the 3rd.
Offense.
Man, you didn't have to. I get the need and want for offense, but you really think about it, Dotson, unless he's outstanding, unless he's like a Jefferson, like fine, like that, he's probably not going to catch more balls than Terry or Samuels or McKissick or Thomas. But I'm saying
if he takes attention off Terry,
man,
then
that's
worthy.
cool. That's cool and all, but you could have got to take attention off Terry in the second round.
But he can also bowl though.
He can't ball. I don't think Dotson's a bad player. I'm saying that I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think he wasn't worthy of the pick. But I'm saying for Washington, you could have got a guy who immediately is a day one starter, guy you look for in your offense. Day one, going to be on there 50-something snaps a game. But now you got a receiver.
Dotson is going to be across.
But he's going to catch if he touches the ball 50 to 60 times, that's a win. But you're looking at a guy who's going to be on 100 snaps a game sometimes or something. You know, that's a whole in a position where we needed it. Worst case, Diami or Sims had to start as third receiver. Worst case, we had Diami or Sims starting the third receiver. They could probably catch 40 or 50 balls, bro. You could have got one of the receivers in the second round pick. He could have caught 40 or 50 balls.
With the ball in his hand, though. He's a playmaker.
I agree, but whatever. But you're gonna see a whole lot of. You're gonna be seeing your boy from Tennessee. They got traded to Philly next year, running
AJ
deep down the middle of the field, running deep across the middle of the field against nobody at Mike and McCain.
And the ball not gonna make it to him because Jalen Hurts sucks.
Time out. You want to talk about cutting off your nose to spite your face. All right. AJ Brown wanted all this money. So he gets traded to Philly because Tennessee won't pay him all this money. So now he's going to get all this money. And in exchange, he gets to have Jalen Hurts throwing the ball, and he has to live in Philly.
Bless him.
Man, McLaurin had Heineke throwing the ball, bro. You ain't got Kudra.
Take it from me.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't feel bad for him, man. I mean, Tannehill wasn't really lighting the world on fire. You know what I'm saying? It's a flow.
Look, I'm not the biggest Tannehill fan either, and I've got to watch him in person.
He's significantly better than Hurts, though.
He's way better.
Let me ask you, fellas. Let me bring this to the forefront. So, in my opinion, if you draft a wide receiver in the first round, specifically the top 15-ish, that should be a wide receiver 1. You don't draft a wide receiver 2 or a wide receiver 3 in the first round.
I think it depends.
But hold on. Do you think they were drafting an insurance policy on Terry McLaurin in case they can't get a deal done?
Hell no.
That's what I want to ask you.
No.
Either way, though, look at it like this, man. Washington picking receivers in the first round is about as bad as Johnny Depp's choice in women, man.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Show Up, Show Out, the football team. Thanks for joining. He said Dotson going to be looked at day one. Ron's the team guy.
Dotson's a starter. So, I mean, you might as well call him a 1 because he's going to be starting opposite Terry on the field on the outside. The starting lineup is going to have Curtis, Terry, and Dotson on the field when we line up.
Who you think will have a better year next year, Hamilton or Dotson?
You said what?
Who you think will have a better year next year, Hamilton or Dotson?
I mean, Hamilton's going to be.
All right, then. That's who we should have picked, then, right? That's who we should have picked.
No, hell no. I don't even think we would have used
Who's
Hamilton.
The better player? Who you think is going to be the better player?
Hamilton, he went to the place he was supposed to go.
You don't trust the
organization that would have utilized him correctly.
You don't trust the guy. You don't trust Washington to pick a safety and use him right, but you expect him to pick a receiver.
Yes.
Out of any of the team in the league picking receivers. Yes. It's like receivers and second round picks.
It was receiver or bust for me. It was receiver or bust for me in the first round this year. So I'm with the shits, bro.
Man, he better be good. He better be better than Hamilton, bro. He better be better than Hamilton. Like Hamilton, if Hamilton or Dean have a better career than him, dog.
How do you compare that?
He was at 16.
How do you compare that? Like, what's
a great question.
Everybody says Hamilton's this elite, game-changing player.
You could have got him in the third round.
We're talking about wide receiver versus safety. How do you compare?
Which one did we need worse? A wide receiver or a safety?
No, he's talking about how do you what are the metrics to say which one had a better year?
Right.
Easily. One of them might be a Pro Bowler, one of them might be an All-Pro, one make the All-Rookie team, and one might not.
Which one did we need more, though? Our second best receiver had 300 yards last year and 0 touchdowns.
Man, you could argue the second best receiver could have been a running back. I think that's an arguable point.
And
our second best receiver didn't need.
I wasn't even counting. Adam Humphries was number 2 for us with 300 yards and 0 touchdowns last year.
Our second, third, and fourth and fifth option at receiver didn't play, bro. Thomas didn't play.
De'Ami played a lot. De'Ami and Milne got a lot of tick and did.
Thomas didn't play a lot. McKissick didn't play. There's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Samuels didn't play. There's a lot of balls that didn't get thrown to people that could have got balls.
Snaps. He got way more than enough snaps to finish the season with 12 catches for 165 yards. Did Dax Milne finish with enough snaps to finish with more than 9 catches for 80 yards, bro?
And you making my point.
Ass.
You making my point. I told you they can't make receivers good. I told you this.
Well, okay, but we haven't drafted one high since Dotson, and none of these guys here were picking when Dotson was selected.
I mean, that's what everybody says. These guys weren't picking. Man, get me who's playing Mike, man? Answer that. Who's playing Mike?
They'll figure that out, man. Fuck a linebacker.
Exactly.
We need to score more than 90 yards in the game.
All right. Well, we spent enough time on the first round pick. Let's move on to the Roll Tide connection.
19 points a game.
Third. Yeah.
Roll
second and third.
How many we allow?
We picked up Fedarian Mathis in the second round at 47, and then Brian Robinson Jr. for a running back in at the 98th pick in round 3. Keith, how do you feel about another Bama defensive lineman? And then what's your thoughts on that running back position in the third round? What do you feel about that?
Yeah, so, that DT position, I kind of had a feeling something like this was going to happen. I wouldn't have guessed second, but, when that Payne news dropped, that was dropped on purpose. That was basically to let the fans know, all right, this guy's not getting re-signed. We're going to have to make it up elsewhere. So I guess they took a look at Fedarian and said, this guy's going to bring value. They probably, from what I've read and seen, it's almost like Fedarian's kind of got a better skill set than Payne. But, that's to be determined out on the field. I don't know. Everyone always has an opinion, and, some believe so, some don't. So it was a little surprising. But at this point, at this pick, it told me Ron is not drafting BPA. Ron is drafting to fill needs. In upcoming needs. It almost looked like to me Ron knew that he was also drafting guys. I know this is going to sound stupid because the draft is supposed to be drafting for the future, but we have a team where we're not lucky like that. We don't just draft for the future. We're drafting for this year, right? So right. I took this as Ron is basically, he's now going to grab guys that he feels are going to be solid. So instead of going after your Kyle Hamilton at 11, and dealing with that type of contract down the road, he was going to just bring in some solid guys. Then
we hate dealing with good player contracts. You know what I'm saying? We want to pay $20 million a year. We'll let Trent go to a team and almost go to Super Bowl for a 5th round pick that don't play.
You might as well say you hate Coach Ron then, because
I like Ron. I feel like I'm Killmonger. I'm like Killmonger. Is it Josh King? Is it your King? That's how I feel. Like Killmonger right now, man. Yeah. You made my point for me. You made my point for me.
Well, Brian Robinson was also a need too, because we all know about Antonio Gibson.
You can't tell me they drafted him by needs and didn't get and they could have picked a linebacker in the second round too. They picked
I agree with the running back pick 100%.
I mean, I can see that I understand where you're coming from about the linebacker, because that's something that I think everybody on Twitter learned what the hell Mike meant this year, because that's all people kept saying is Mike.
Fucking D-line.
They sounded like the damn camel on that. Hey, Mike, it's hump day.
If the fucking D-line actually performed to their fucking draft status, linebackers' job would be so much easier.
True.
Can we also keep in mind that we only run 2 linebackers 75% of the time?
I also think that
we only run 2
linebackers.
2 linebackers 75% of the time.
Yeah, we're only in base.
We ain't got one. Which
is why Buffalo nickel became like.
We're gonna be seeing a lot of Cole Holcomb and Jamin Davis, bro. Like I don't know why people expect that.
I like Jamin Davis though. I like Cole Holcomb too.
Him on the field all day, when it's not gonna happen like that.
So I just want a guy who can guard the middle of the field, bro.
Reclaiming the term, by the way.
I truly believe that we're gonna see Landon Collins back on this team.
Please, somebody.
There's reasons behind that. Now, obviously, it may not happen, and I'll look stupid. But
what's Hightower at? Who got Hightower? Is he still out there?
Who?
He's still out there, Dante Hightower.
Yeah, man. But the thing is, they really like Collins. Collins, towards the end of the season, started to fall into this role that everyone was talking about, and he was all right with it. The problem was, and this is the great thing, and I was on top of this. shit, right? Because I wanted to know what was going on with Collins. And legit, dude was about to sign until that Wentz news dropped. And that Wentz news dropped out of nowhere. And that's because this team wasn't waiting. They weren't going to let this sit and ponder. They made the decision. Well, as we know this story, unfortunately, they had to come back and be like, yo, can you take less of a discount? Can you take even more of a discount?
He gonna come back.
Collins is like, no, I'm not going to. But once he hit that market and saw that there ain't a need like there was for him, when we picked him up.
There ain't any need for him. Nobody's touched him.
And so I think his agent's going to be like, yo, you've already established a relationship with these guys. You really want to bail out somewhere else and run into this same problem? So in my opinion, I feel like my man's going to be on this team. So then I don't think we're going to have to necessarily freak too much out about the linebacker because of what Phil brought up. We're only running 2 at a certain, percentage.
Most of the time. Yeah.
Most of the time. So that's why everyone started mentioning Buffalo nickel. And that, like I said, that was the next that was the next word for generational talent. When we were drafting Chase Young, it was
position flex.
Yeah. Generational talent. Tell me what that means. What does generational talent mean? No one could really tell me. And
Steve will tell you it's not Buffalo nickel. I've been preaching this. It's hero back.
Hey, Rio, I want to get your thoughts on this one. So Marcus says, I like the pick, but we're very messed up the defensive tackle. We could have re-signed Tim Settle. So we got Fedarian Mathis in the second round. We let Ioannidis go and Tim Settle go. So how do you feel about the 2 DTs leaving and then the delta of being Fedarian Mathis?
I feel like the player they picked, makes sense for what we've lost this offseason. I wasn't a fan of where we picked him because I feel like we could have picked him in the 4th round, but I don't know shit and we don't know anything about value. This whole draft proves that none of us, even the experts know anything. We've never seen a draft like this, bro. Fucking Nakobe Dean was almost a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
Malik Willis and Sam Howell and Bailey Zappi went before Sam. It was a crazy draft with value. So I hated the Fedarian Mathis pick. I knew the player was. I'm sitting here we're looking at the board. You see Brisker. And at the time, we didn't know about all these things with Nakobe Dean. I thought it was 100% going to be Nakobe Dean. I was like, Jack Del Rio and Ron aren't going to turn up this classic linebacker style. But then we find out he has a laundry list of medicals, and he's refusing surgery on a couple things. Pec injuries, shoulder injuries, all types
issue in the pec. It's hard to come back from that.
Brian Aracco knows.
Pec injuries in this team.
You think
that was annoying.
You think us getting Fedarian Mathis, who I like him, by the way. Would I like the linebacker, but I do like the guy. You think us getting Fedarian Mathis will lend us a playing more 5-2?
I think he's going to fill in kind of like the Matt Ioannidis role, but he's more of a space eater. Matt Ioannidis played over 50-60% of the snaps last year. So he's I think the theme of this draft was getting older players, experienced players that you could just pop into the lineup right away. They're not projecting for the future because they know in year 3 with who our owner is, it's time to show some fucking results. You have on paper the league's 32nd ranked schedule. They want players that could come in right now and they could just throw them out on the field and get
all I'm saying is the old Dan would have drafted Hamilton. All I'm saying.
Hey man, I'm glad he was on his fucking boat. The 3rd round pick, Brian Robinson, though, I love that pick because I've said all offseason, Antonio Gibson needs a running mate. He needs to be in a back by committee situation. I'm not sure he should get as many touches as he's been getting. I don't think he's ready to take the battering and the bruising of the position. He lacks vision. He leaves a lot to be desired with leaving yards on the field. And when you lead the league in fumble, Ron said it to Julie in his one-on-one yesterday 4 times. Ball security, ball security, ball security. This guy never fumbled one time in Alabama, and he's had over 600 touches there. So I'm
loving. You ever pay attention to when Gibson gets tackled? I feel like he always falls to the ground all ugly.
It's his run style. He's
He runs.
He's not built to be a running back, bro.
He runs like a receiver.
Man, he is built to be
I will give Gibson credit because you can obviously tell that he's responding to coaching. As the season went on, you saw that he went from how he usually runs with the ball, which is down low like a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. And he was bringing that thing up tight and tucked towards his shoulder as the season went on. Now, that's a habit that you have that's not easy to break. because that's your natural position of holding the ball.
Yep.
But I think that, taking the carries off of him gives him more extended value as the season goes on.
Spells him.
Yeah.
Well,
Keith, let me ask you this.
He always loses the ball standing up too, man. He never it's a
but
but
fellas, listen, and this is really for Keith. We traditionally keep 3 running backs, active running backs. So you got Gibson, McKissick, Patterson, and now Robinson.
Not Patterson.
Pick. That's
it's
what
not
I'm saying.
Patterson.
So who is the odd man out? You
Patterson.
got 4
practice squad. Patterson.
I think they'll keep 4.
Yeah, Keith, what do you think, Keith?
Yeah, I think if he doesn't have a spot on special teams, he's going to hit the practice squad. I mean, someone might have interest, but again, he was a preseason MVP, but this season he's a great story. But there's always a great story to a lot of these guys that come out. I mean, we always we always root for the underdog, and that's what he is. But
like Samus Reyes.
Exactly. The reality is, though,
I will say this: for as low as Patterson was picked and everything, or if he was an undrafted free agent, his stat line isn't horrible.
No, he's not terrible at all.
But I think that Brian Robinson does a lot of what you expected out of Patterson better because he's more physically gifted than Patterson, just because he has the size. Patterson's kind of like Maurice Jones-Drew, poor man's version. Whereas Robinson, I think, is going to be more of your traditional power back. He's a straight ahead north-south runner.
And
I think that him pairing him with Gibson is great because Gibson doesn't go down like as easily as, say, McKissick does running the ball. And that way you're not trying to use McKissick so much as a running back. Keep him as a third down guy. Keep him as a pass receiver. Robinson's also a great pass protector. He's the best pass protecting back we have on this team already. So
yeah, that part.
And we need that. We need that. We've seen what happens when our backs. We've had 2 quarterbacks go down with season-ending injuries due to backs not picking up the blitz.
Brian Robinson can block.
When's the last time, though, that we had a breakaway touchdown from a running back where it was a long touchdown?
Peterson?
Adrian Peterson.
Oh, yeah. It was that one, right? Where he was running out of gas at the end?
Gibson has that Portis thing where he just can't break away in the open field. Like, he had the screening pass, but when he takes a carry, he can't do it. And he misses gaping holes in the line sometimes. I like Gibson. I love Gibson. I just felt like a back by committee, a duo back there could get it done. And if Ron's trying to recreate D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart, we just got the Jonathan Stewart of that mix.
And shout out to Gibson, though. He was saying he does miss holes, but I think a lot of times he outruns his block and runs up, linemen's backs because he's an impatient running back because he just got turned into a running back. I think that'll come, but I like the Robinson pick in the 3rd round, man. He's a legit starting NFL running back. Yes.
Yeah, my last point is I don't believe in paying running backs. You got Gibson under contract for 2 more years. You already put that next guy, get him in rotation, get him rolling, because when that contract's up, it was thank you for your service. And we ran the tread off the tires, and now you go take them shits elsewhere.
It's the same with Dallas. Like they just did the same thing. Like they're just smart about their decision-making process. And like I said, when we talk about, you look at this draft, it's unlike what we've seen before. I mean, I truly believe their decision-making process, they knew what guys they wanted, and they did not care about value. And
now perform.
They were just looking at, all right, we need to get this guy this round because he might not make it to our next pick.
Yep.
And I think that's the way that they took a look at this whole thing. But I'm wondering if we're ever going to see a true fullback position come back. I feel like
miss it. Larry Sellers, who was 36? Brain fart.
Darrell Young.
I mean,
DY.
What a good position to have, man.
And I think that's what they truly like Brian Robinson for, is his blocking ability. So I think you're going to see kind of a glimpse of a fullback scenario, but it's not a true fullback.
No, that boy gonna end up RB1 by the end of the season.
Hey,
Yeah.
You know what? And
Whatever.
Bye, Gibson. Marcus says we got a great combination of power. Robinson and speed. Gibson, maybe we can use him in Samuels and a Debo Samuel role. I think it's time for Scott
Gibson. I'll have something to say about speed. Me and Jalen, we've been talking about this for the last few weeks. Gibson put on too much weight when he made the transition from receiver to running back, and he put on like too much bad weight, and it slowed him down. He hasn't looked like he's played at 4.3, 4.4. Or barely 4.5 speed. Is it because it's slow and indecisiveness because he's learning the position, or is he just not hitting it? He's not moving like he did at Memphis. Right. That's why everybody says split Gibson out at receiver. Right now, he's not moving like he could do. He lost weight. Well, apparently they said today he lost 10 plus pounds in the offseason because he needed to. He hasn't been moving like that Memphis guy that ran a 4.3 at all.
Yep.
Never seen.
I'm fine with that. Run. Because now when you got Robinson, now you don't have to worry about running Gibson on all the power runs. You don't have to run dive and gap with him all the time. Let him run off tackle. Let him run belly. Let him run those runs that go outside the guard. Mm-hmm. And then let Robinson
half the damn time we were trying to QB sneak fucking Heineke up the
Either that or we're running shotgun. We're running shotgun zone.
Man.
Third and 1 is shotgun zone.
I don't want to get frustrated again. Let's move on to our 4th and 5th rounds, fellas. And we'll close out with 5, 7, 7.
The good stuff happens.
Percy Butler, safety at safety at round 4, 113, and Sam Howell around 5, 144. Had we been the Red Wolves, that'd have just been a perfect pick. But Rio, we'll go back to you, man. How you feel about Percy and Sam Howell in the 5th, man? Sam Howell was rated, I want to say he was the arguably QB3 in this draft for a lot of people. Fell all the way to 5. So what's your take on the Percy Butler and Sam Howell picks?
I'll start with the Sam Howell pick. Incredible value there. We throw around value left and right. Like, this is a guy coming off of his last year with De'Ami Brown, Javonte Williams, Daz Newsome, Michael Carter and company, who was plus 225 to be the first overall pick of the draft this year. And all this talent at his school left. They went to the league, deuces. And he was out there by himself. His line sucked. His weapons sucked. And he managed to still put up 24 touchdowns, under double-digit interceptions, and he ran for 850 yards and 11 touchdowns in a bad year, coming off a 38 touchdown season and a 34 touchdown season the 2 years before. I like the guy. He has the moxie and the swagger of Taylor Heineke, except he actually has a grown man's arm, a beautiful deep ball, and can throw outside the boundaries. He's a gamer. I like him in the clutch. He's a guy that one day, if given the chance, he could be the guy here, but there's no quarterback controversy. I don't expect to see any Sam Howell outside of August when him and De'Ami are just tearing up preseason lineups this year. But as soon as he learns that offense, though, Taylor might be holding the Surface Pro behind him, though.
Yeah, we played 4 last year.
Yeah.
Keith,
how you feel about those 2 picks, man?
Hey, I'm looking best case scenario, bro. I don't want to talk about another season where we're playing 3 quarterbacks. Don't stop it. Stop it, Dev.
No. So I like the idea that they brought in a safety at 4, which told me that they hold high value to this guy as well. So, I've got nothing to where I can speak on where I think he fits, but again, you're still not neglecting a defense where, we still got St. Juice that has a lot of questions as well. So, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, but I'm not going to get too far in depth. What I love about our quarterback selection is finally, for the first time, it's a little bit weird because we don't know what we're going to get out of Wentz. We know that there's potential. We know that it's low risk, high ceiling potential. And, we really need Wentz to be successful. That doesn't necessarily mean you got to tear it up in the playoffs, go win a Super Bowl. We know that's not happening. Right, and it's probably not going to happen next year.
Never say never, goddammit.
Well, listen, I'm old, and all I've seen is losing since the 91
all I've seen
season.
Is losing,
so.
But don't say that.
Listen, Justin Bieber.
I'm trying to be a realist here. I just don't see it. I don't love Justin Bieber either. What are you talking about? But what I did like about Howell is we're finally in a position where we can actually, roll quarterbacks over. I mean, every year we're spending, trying to find a guy just to hold us over if we can't find the guy, right? But now we got a guy that could, has a high ceiling to be good, And let's say, he remains with us, for 3-4 years. Hopefully we got Hal, in the cuts watching. I love the idea, like Rio said earlier, no pressure. He can really sit and learn the game. It's going to be up to him on what he wants to learn. And if Wentz's time is up, at a certain period of time, I think we got a guy that can roll into that QB1 position and keep it rolling. It's kind of the same thing that I said, and I hate to bring up this team, but it's really the only true example I have is, the Cowboys. You had Troy Aikman, then you had Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Then after Tony Romo, you got Dak Prescott. Now, yeah, you're right. They're not winning tons of playoff games. They're not winning Super Bowls, but they're staying constant.
They went through a little bit of dreck between Aikman and Romo, but I feel you. Right?
But yeah, of course, it's going to happen. But at the end of the day, the team still remained competitive. They were competitive. And I look at this because we've been terrible for so many years. This is a crawl, walk, run process, right? We've been crawling for so many years.
Yeah,
now we're just trying to walk, and we have that ability to walk. And then hopefully if we don't get what we need out of Wentz for, these next couple of years, I know anything can happen. I know he's only on a 1-year contract right now and he could be let go and so on and so on. But if it plays out, we just need to get to that competitive level. And so, I want to keep walking with this team to get to that competitive level. But I can't say Super Bowl just because I don't see it.
Yeah, that's a very good analysis. And
we just need consistency.
That's it. Exactly. And with the Percy Butler pick, I read somewhere, I forget which guy wrote it, National Pundit, but they said he is the best free safety in this draft. Okay, Chris Sims, the best free safety in this draft, and we got a steal. And then Marcus says, we got this year's Cam Crow. So my argument would be, we don't need another Cam Crow. I mean, I think he's just another playmaker. If you put
a free save, that's 4.3 speed. And Ron even said to Julie, in that one-on-one that the team dropped yesterday, that we're going into this with Percy being our third safety, and he's going to play at minimum 53% of the snaps. So
there you go. Imagine Percy, Cam, and then if Landon comes back, he's in the box. Boom. I mean, there you go. I mean, I know we resigned Bobby McCain.
I love to bring Landon back for a linebacker, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
You don't want Bobby McCain out there, Phil?
No.
Oh man, Bobby McLean, man. Bobby McLean. There's no way I can go with Bobby McLean.
My man picked off Jake State Farm and got a contract out of it, bro.
How many interceptions? Just give y'all a quiz here. How many interceptions does Aaron Colvin have? Which one of y'all two know the answer to this? In his whole career, in a regular season game, how many interceptions does Aaron Colvin have?
One.
Zero, son.
Yeah, zero.
He been playing for 9 years, bro. I got more interceptions than Aaron Colvin, bro.
Damn,
I got when you look up an Aaron Colvin highlight on YouTube, what they gonna show? Is him making a bunch of deflections?
With Bobby, it's more like everything looks like a miscommunication, or he's out of place all the time, and someone's just streaking past him.
But to his credit, man, McLean, he balled up the last 4 or 5 games, dog. I'm not gonna knock him. Last 4 or 5 games, he wasn't the problem.
It was better.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people got better once they got put into the position that they're successful at.
Especially when we got to the point of the schedule when there were shit quarterbacks to play like Jake Fromm.
I feel like the adjustments that were made last season were just too late.
But Keith, you're right. That's a coach's job. You put your players in position to be successful. That's your job.
Yeah, but once you do, they gotta show up. Once you do,
we made adjustments. We went on a win streak, and then everyone got hurt or got COVID.
Yeah, the COVID
right
thing
when we started to get it figured out, everything went to hell.
Yeah.
Who had the best draft in the division then?
I think
Eagles, maybe.
Philly.
Nah.
I'm not looking forward to seeing Jordan.
The Giants had like 2 layup picks at 5 and 7, and they had the best top-heavy draft.
Tough loves Ron.
If you count AJ Brown, I guess the Eagles had the best draft.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's hard though.
They still have Jalen Hurts at quarterback.
100%. And that does not put any fear in my heart, bro. I think I could outpass Jalen Hurts.
Oh man. Well, let's finish this up, fellas. Round 5, 7 and 7. Cole Turner out of Nevada at round 5, 149. Chris Paul, offensive lineman at Tulsa, round 7.
The real Chris Paul.
The real Chris Paul, not the DC Chris Paul.
The singer.
Or the point guard. Chris Paul,
the R&B singer Chris Paul. Have y'all seen his music video?
No.
He sings R&B?
Yo, bro, he goes by the 7th, and he has a song called Mother Nature. Please watch the visuals when we get off the live stream.
I only watch it if you listen to Cole Beasley's mixtape on Tidal.
Listen, but he can sing. Like, you could cancel the rookie showcase at camp already, bro.
He's good.
But y'all, for obvious reasons, please watch it and tell me what you think.
This guy
I'm giving you the Negro please look, bro.
And then we picked up Christian Holmes, quarterback at OK State, round 7, 240. I'm a big tight end fan. I love tight ends. Cole Turner, I think he's going to be a great pickup.
I love him because he's a pass catching tight end. I don't want no more put your finger in the dirt. That's why Logan Paulson don't like him, because he could do things that he couldn't do. You know, I was like, I'll wait for fucking Chris Cooley's opinion on Cole Turner, because this motherfucker just wants to put his finger in the dirt and care about blocking and shit. Let John Bates do that shit. We need somebody that can catch a fade.
Logan Paul's like, he's all right, but he ain't no Logan Paulson. You know what I'm
saying? I can tell you, depending on how was not a good one.
The last true well-rounded tight end we had was Cooley.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody who could block, catch everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Hey, Logan's gonna be back better than ever this year, man. I got faith.
What you understand is that we are loaded at tight end right now.
Love Logan Thomas, man. It's my favorite player on the team is Logan Thomas.
We can run a lot of 2 tight end sets and then just throw whoever we want, because let's not forget,
we can run 3 and go on.
As much as Bates gets talked about for being a blocker,
he showed
he can catch the ball.
Yeah,
he's got hands like we were talking about how Dotson has hands. He doesn't drop passes.
He got a little bit of wiggle when he gets it too.
Yeah. He's no Jeremy Stinkle.
Oh Lord Jesus. I think
Stone hands.
I think we need to. I think we need to come to a realization as a family and as a fan base that Samus Reyes is not going to be a tight end in this league, bro.
Yeah, that one's going to hurt, but it's reality.
There's your fullback.
You're right. That's a big ass fullback.
Practice squad legend.
He could be a fullback.
Fast enough, strong enough,
big enough.
Man, well, fellas, I think we've culminated. We're coming up on an hour here. We just want to thank Rio and Keith, Hawk Farmer Keith, for your time this evening, fellas. This has been fun. Love you guys have you guys back on sometime. And before we go though, you know, we want to give you guys, let's do a couple round of shout outs. So Keith, we'll start with you. You got any shout outs you want to throw out to the community while you got the mic?
Yeah, I mean, really, the only shout out I have is June 11th. We're doing that golf tournament with the Hog Farmers, and we're teaming up with Bob Early and that, and just going to raise a ton of money to bring in. So that's going to be cool. So if anybody wants to check that out, they can hit hogfarmercharity.org. Other than that, that's it, man. I've just been hanging out with everybody on all their shows and just having a good time. So it's cool.
That's dope. Hey, Marcus, thanks for joining. Thank you. Appreciate it. Be blessed as well. Yeah, we usually sponsor a hole at that tournament, so we gotta get on that one. So appreciate that.
We got some other things coming in the works too. I gotta stay silent about it now, but we're working behind the scenes and some big things.
When is that tournament again, Keith?
June 11th.
It's down south. It's down south, Southern Virginia.
Yeah.
I will be in South Carolina. Unfortunately, I cannot.
You're closer there than you are where you are now.
Right.
all of those places seem like places black folks I'm not going to be at. So I'm not going.
Well, Tiger Woods golf. So you're good, man. You're
good. Again. Right. Sounds like a lot of places that black folks are not going to be at.
Hey, Rio, you got the mic, bro. Who you shout outs, man?
I'm gonna give a shout out to the content creator community for the Commanders, man. It's like a family. Like, it's really dope. Yeah. Like, there's a bunch of guys who have never met each other, but we all interact on Twitter. We see each other in person. It's like we fucking go way back. Me and Steve got that 703, that Woodbridge connection. Yeah, Big Doug too.
Fred M. Lynn Middle School, go Hornets.
Yeah, Fred Lynn, you know what I'm saying.
We went to the same middle school, for y'all that don't know.
Like, that is crazy, right?
That is crazy. Crazy. Not at the same time, because I'm
definitely not at the same time. But yeah, shout out to them. Shout out for the people behind the scenes for the team that are actually putting in work. We had an ambassador meeting on Monday. They're doing some things for the 90th anniversary. I think people are going to like it. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say what I'm about to say. The patch looks good. I'm going to say no more. Yep. I'm not going to say no more.
How come you give us more information than Phil does, man? The Phil's in-house, man.
They didn't tell me about the meeting until it was too late.
That's
I didn't get
to
attend.
Yeah, the only reason I know is because someone posted the Slack Joan in our group chat, and like I was like, "Where we have a meeting tomorrow?" But yeah, there's a plan for the 90th anniversary. The patch looks good. That's gonna be commemorating it, and on the jerseys. And there's a line, and there's some things they're working on. And I like what the team's doing. There are good people in the organization. We all know who's at the top, but there's good people in that building. Stay the course, because I think the people that they have in place, they're going to set up something special here, especially when a new venue comes out.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Well, hey, for everyone listening, if you catch on the replay, please go like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are unavailable at all where you can get your podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify. Big shout out to Keith and the Hark Farmers. If you haven't followed them, please go check them out. Doing great things for the community, great things for a great cause. It's always good to have people like that. It really warms the heart. And once again, another plug for Rio. Thanks for coming on. Rambling with Rio. Go check out his YouTube channel. It's just been great, fellas. Hey, we look forward to many more of these sort of things as we move forward.
Oh, yeah.
It's only April. It's only May. We're in
wins.
spring.
10 wins. You heard it first.
So the excitement is here. It's funny because we haven't had this sort of excitement in a while. I don't want to get too excited, but it's good, man. Yeah,
get excited. 10 wins.
Yeah, 10 wins. That's what you're calling. You know what?
Ooh, 10.
Yeah. We'll tackle that later on. That'd be
that schedule is
schedule's out next week. Schedule.
It is.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you on it.
No, it is the easiest schedule in the NFL
on paper.
Already on paper.
Yeah.
Correct. Last year, I think we were top 10, top.
We were like the fourth hardest schedule.
Yeah, it was rough.
It
was rough.
That's why I was pissed that we made it to the playoffs, because we were fake as hell. We were a fake playoff team.
Yeah.
And we had to play that schedule.
Let's open up versus Chicago or Houston and get this shit cracking.
Yeah. And Marcus says, go bet on your horses Saturday, Kentucky Derby. Oh yeah, Dad,
hey, I might be there, bro.
Put on your suit.
I remember since I was a kid. I can't run from bullets like I used to. It's like the worst part of Louisville, man. I don't know. Like, if y'all go to Louisville, be careful. It's like 3 places you don't want to go, man. West End, Broadway. You don't want to go anywhere that has a hospital on the street, bro. Just stay away from that area. Anything named after a black athlete, any street named after a black athlete, don't go there, bro.
For sure.
Yeah.
Or black like political.
A black person.
If it say Malcolm X or MLK.
Yeah. It's hey man, it's easy because it's Louisville. You already know who it's named after, Muhammad Ali. Don't go there, bro.
Yeah. Someone's waiting for you up there.
Don't go there. But if you just wanted to see the horses, it's cool.
Man. See, y'all don't get this no more education on a regular basis. This is what we bring to the table. So, all right, fellas.
I just try to pick the all black horse.
I want to predict this right now. I want to predict this Louisville basketball winning the all next year. I'm telling y'all this.
No.
We got like five stars, baby. It's coming. They got 5.
No, you bringing back Rick Pitino?
We got 5. We got Kenny Payne, son.
Oof. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
You're gonna
and Danny Manning. Huh?
You're gonna feel some pain when they don't
We
win.
can be Maryland with them bones we had last year.
Yeah. All right, we signing off. Go follow Command This. We are rebranded. Here we are. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Rio. We love you guys, man. We'll catch you on the flip. Peace.